And we're live again. Welcome, everybody, to this week's Gain LinkedIn Live. We're going to discuss some issues close to the heart of the travel tech, hospitality tech, and MICE industry community. So today we're joined by Tommy Kalita, and he's sales manager at Muse. So welcome, Tommy.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Brilliant. Pleasure to have you on. So Tommy, tell us a bit about your background, first of all, and what you're working on at Muse currently.
Yeah, absolutely. So my background was pretty diverse. I started actually a career in real estate and finance. And quite a few years ago, I decided to launch my own small boutique hotel up in Canada. And I operated that for quite some time. I sold it in 2023. And through that process, I was introduced to Muse. And since then, I've been working with Muse as a sales manager.
Fantastic. It's really good to have you on. And we've got the best backgrounds today.
Absolutely.
Tommy's background is a real background, everyone, which it looks like an AI generated background, but it's actually real, and I love it. And that's why I've got the wide screen on today, because I think the plants deserve it.
They do.
We've got a juicy topic today. And I just wanted to give a bit of a background on how it came about, because, Tommy and I had a conversation last week about the role of integrations. We're talking about integrations and how important they are, and, got onto how he deals with clients in his day-to-day, clients. And we kind of riffed about the industry and both started talking about some of the feedback that we've heard from hoteliers as providers. Tommy's on the provider side. I've been, tech marketing for 7 years now on the provider side as well. And one of the things that we've heard from various sources is that it's kind of at best overwhelming and at worst sort of an actual rejection on the part of hoteliers to providers and brands. And on the provider side, this kind of makes me sad. It makes me sad for our industry that we're sometimes received as that, because yes, it's a complex and overwhelming situation. We are dealing with a lot of different types of tech, but and some people don't play nice, but at the same time, we're all of us on the same team. At the end of the day, providers and hoteliers, we're all trying to provide a great guest experience and save money and build businesses. So I just think it's a great topic to unpick, and we will talk a bit about integrations, specifically ethical integrations. But yeah, I'm just really happy to be talking about this topic today. And I think it's unusual and fun to talk about. So, Tommy, why do you think hoteliers feel so overwhelmed or negative at times by us as providers, and what can we do to make it easier?
Yeah, so I think there's something to be said about one of the things that is so great about our industry is that there is accessibility. It's quite easy actually to get a hold of leadership in a hotel, unlike a lot of other industries. And I think that leads to basically most hoteliers are just being inundated or bombarded with pitches every waking moment. It's something that when I think about my own experience, actually, so like I mentioned, I sold my property in 2023. I have not owned a hotel for nearly 2 years now, and yet I still get phone calls on my personal cell phone that was never attached to the hotel that someone has tracked down and pitching me on things that are for a hotel that I no longer have any involvement with, and often are related to data that's quite old. And so I think what tends to happen is that leadership and just hoteliers across the board are just tired. You just get pitch after pitch. A lot of times it's kind of spray and pray approach. They're just kind of hoping to see if anyone clicks. And so, I think that what I hope that we start seeing more of, and certainly some providers are doing, is, really kind of cut the fluff, get to the real, the real world examples, get to the real, get into how, you're offering real value, not just kind of going through a sales pitch. I think that a lot of hoteliers aren't afraid of innovation, but they are really tired of time wasting. And there's a lot of that in the industry right now. I think that if we start to really focus on how we can solve core problems, and then, not necessarily just getting into, decoding vague messaging and one size fits all marketing, I think that's going to go a long ways to really helping the industry and helping hoteliers get the sort of solutions that are actually going to leave a lasting impact on the property.
Yeah, totally. I think that's such an interesting point, that your cell phone is still being used after such a long time. And, you know, I often think from the marketing perspective, we're all, as well as being in marketing and in sales, we're also consumers, and we know how annoying and you know, just doesn't work to get these spammy emails, and yet there's people kind of still doing those tactics, like, you know, mass emailing. I have to say, you know, that's my industry, my segment that is responsible for that, and yours for the phone calls, by the way. You know, but we kind of, yeah, it's some do kind of make, some practices still do make a bad, you know, bad deal for other people. So obviously we're not here to roast anyone in particular. It's just about industry practice, and we all know what it is. But what do you think are the biggest mistakes that providers are making when they're reaching out to hoteliers?
You know, I think that hoteliers have a really good memory for kind of pushy sales ploys. We know that the industry is very tight knit as well. So I think that, you know, people, if they haven't interacted with something themselves, they've certainly probably heard about something from their peers. I think genuine support is going to be really crucial. You know, also really looking at how there often has been, you know, a lot of, I guess, kind of bait and switch tactics, like people overpromise and then underdeliver, and that creates a lot of fatigue, a lot of mistrust in the industry, and that's something that's that carries over to the next round of you know, when a hotel is looking at you know, what to do next. And so, you know, I think a lot of times you know, their hoteliers are looking at it as, you know, almost like open heart surgery. You know, sometimes you know that you need to make a change. You know that, you know, it's time, and you know, you can't really avoid it. But at the same time, you know, no one's necessarily looking forward to it, and that comes from kind of some of the you know, the bait and switch, the fear-based selling, those types of things that have occurred in the past. And that's certainly not saying every vendor. I want to be clear about that too. There's plenty of so many good vendors. The problem is that, you know, the industry has really exploded in the last few years. We've seen a lot of you know, we've seen a lot of new technologies, a lot of really exciting things coming down the pipe, and that's just led to, again, like it's become easier than ever to access, you know, access the leadership team and access hoteliers, and so that's causing just a lot of fatigue. And so, you know, what I really see is, you know, looking at how, you know, how can we get to more transparent, more informative content, get to you know, really start to actually offer value and build credibility, and then also be really clear about when you are working with the right customer, or, you know, when it's not the right fit. I think it's actually one of the most powerful things we can do is, you know, say no, like maybe we aren't the right fit for your particular needs, and that is exactly what builds the trust, so that at some point in the future, when the you know, that hotel might actually need something from you, that, you know, they are happy because of the fact that you actually did build that trust in the first place.
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely a big power in saying it's not right now, you know, for this particular solution. I think there's a massive build in trust and credibility in that. And, you know, again, like sales and marketing go hand in hand with this problem. And I think from the marketing point of view, you know, there's loads of great brands. There's high access to, as you say, decision makers, and then it's a very crowded space, and it's, you know, it's increasingly harder and harder for providers to stand out. And so, like, one of the things that I'm seeing, and I actually get asked on a regular basis, and I work a lot with LinkedIn, as you know, is kind of these scraping tools that go on LinkedIn, and they'll apparently download all your contacts, and then AI will contact them automatically, and then you'll get a billion leads. And like, I always say to my clients, like, first of all, personally, that's not the way that I work as a marketer. I believe in educational content. I believe in brand awareness. I believe in providing a ton of value to the industry. And I believe that in the long term, that's what builds up trust and credibility for a brand. And that's what, because most people are not ready to buy all the time when that email lands in their inbox. You know, it's just annoying. But if they see your brand time and time again, giving informative webinars or, you know, at events or proper thought leadership or data reports, you know, you'll stick in their mind. That's the kind of marketing I believe in. And, you know, getting a downloaded LinkedIn list, which by the way can get you banned from LinkedIn, just saying, LinkedIn does really not like those kind of add-ons and plugins and systems. I fear that, you know, although it seems like a quick fix, especially if you're unknown in the industry, it's actually ruining your reputation. So invest in good marketing, good messaging, good relationship building, educational content. And, you know, this is the kind of the gift that we'll give over time. And just be careful of not, it's a small industry, like you say, don't burn bridges. So it's related actually. One of the terms that we come across in the industry is become a partner, not a provider, which is the, you know, the title of this live. So can you unpick that a little bit?
Yeah, so I mean, there's a couple pieces, I think. You know, just to touch on your first point, I think that just like, again, blanket blasts, generic pitches, they're just like really showing zero empathy for the person on the other side of the line. And, you know, just isn't really helping with any, you know, with their actual situation. One of the things that I really like with Muse is going into your content question is that we have endless opportunities for a hotelier to really gain access to how-to guides. We're very open with our data. Our founder Richard and our CEO Matt are very, very active on LinkedIn, just really offering kind of the newest insights. And one thing is that we often, I think, get in trouble for almost being too transparent. We give too much access in some ways, and but I think that's really important and really key, again, to building trust. One quick note I just wanted to mention before getting to the second part of your question is talking a little bit about Muse Unfold. So when I was a hotelier considering Muse, this is years ago. You know, Muse Unfold is available in streaming for absolutely anyone. And this is industry leaders coming together, talking about the newest trends to pay attention to in the coming year. It's a massive undertaking by our team. And it's something that's readily available for everyone. I really like that this was something that when I was looking at Muse, I could just log in and stream this and be able to actually understand what was being thought of at the company level. So I do think that that's all really quite important. Now, going to your question about being a partner, not just a provider, I think there's a lot that the industry can learn here. I think sometimes the industry maybe talks too much and doesn't listen. You know, I think that there is a lot of opportunity for you know, vendors to be able to, you know, actually ask the questions, ask what the real bottlenecks are, what the real friction is, you know, what part of the guest journey is causing issue. And you know, I think it's easy to get stuck in the status quo as an operator. You know, you have endless day-to-day, you know, friction and problems and, you know, crises that are coming up that you need to address. However, I think that it becomes sometimes the hoteliers forget to pay attention. You know, they just get used to it. It's kind of like, this is how things are, and they don't always look at how could things be better. One of the things that we really try to do on our team is, you know, start asking those questions about, you know, what is working, what is serving you well, what isn't, and are you only following the process because this is how you've always done things, or is it something that you know, you're really looking at, you know, how to innovate, how to provide best practices, et cetera. You know, I think that we're looking at how do you problem solve instead of pitch. You know, we want to see that, you know, the vendor is really customizing the solution for the hotelier, not just kind of offering a one size fit all approach. And that is really where you are going to have a real partnership approach and really helping them, you know, achieve the things that are most important to them.
Yeah, it makes all the difference. And, you know, that feeling when not just a client, but a potential client might come to you and say, you know, what's your opinion on X? That's the aha moment, I bet, for you. It's like, oh wow, they see me as somebody who's gonna, you know, give me unbiased opinion obviously, Muse is the best, but but they might come to you for something else. It's not necessarily always going to be about your PMS. It might be about something completely different. There might be a client, they've already got Muse, but they ask you about something else, and they know that you're going to give them an unbiased opinion. I think that's just an amazing sort of client relationship to build up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant. Yeah. So we did, we were supposed to talk about integration, so I guess we should probably talk about but no, integrations definitely plays into this. And, I was on the live last week with April Key, and she was talking about solutions architect for Muse. And she was talking about how, she, when a client comes to her, she doesn't always say, yeah, get all the integrations, just, go for it. It's like, yes, maybe you don't completely need this. Maybe you need some of the functionalities that your system already has, or maybe we can think of that down the road, that kind of consultative approach. So, ethical integrations, what does that mean? How can we talk about that? And what do you think?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, I want to start with, actually, I absolutely love April and her approach to handling problem solving. I think that, again, when I talked earlier about listening, I think that is just so key. And one of the things that I know is oftentimes there's a perception of complexity, but sometimes that actually isn't the case. It's just very much people are like, they only know the world that they're in, and they don't know about other paths. They just, this is how we've always done things, especially in a hotel where, maybe people have been in the same place for quite some time. They really are. They're working based on the best practices of that property and what they know. But one of the areas that I think we can really come in, or any vendor really can come in, is to, we're in this privileged position to be able to see how everyone else that we're talking to is doing it. So we get to see best practices, worst practices. We kind of get to see behind the curtain in a way that I think is really meaningful. And so this is where I think that when you're talking about ethical integrations, there's a few areas that I think are really important here. Is that, we want to, the customer wants to know that they still own their data. That is so critical. They don't want to worry about signing a deal and then, realizing actually that it wasn't all it was, set up to be. We want to make sure that there's transparent policies. We want to know that, someone is not going to feel locked in after they've made a decision, or feel like there was something hidden from them, or something that's not really providing them exactly what they expected. And then also just really looking at, how do we ensure fairness? What is it that we can do to make sure that, everything is fair up front, it's clear up front. Muse has an open API. So one of the things that we care a lot about is, we want our customers to be able to have flexibility to do what makes the most sense for them. We don't really believe in a walled garden approach where we're forcing them to only use our solutions. We have some great in-house solutions that are doing a lot for our customers. However, we know that every hotel is very different. We don't want to penalize them for not using our parts of our product. We want to ensure that the partners that we are recommending are not, shady third parties that are going to be, compromising their guest data. We've seen in the industry what the impact is when something like guest data can be compromised. And so Muse takes a really strong approach to security, to ensuring that, that if we are sharing data, that it is something that is very clear with our customers about what is going to be shared. And we know that with, we have over 1,200 integrations to choose from, but at the same time, we also have Muse Stacks, which is a great new group that we have of kind of some of our preferred partners that we know that we've had the best connections with, and the best ability to really ensure that that's guest data is being used appropriately. So I think that being ethical isn't just a tagline. We know that it's the backbone of trust. We know that if hoteliers can see where their data is flowing, if they can see the true costs that they're going to be expecting, they're going to view you as a credible partner and not just a vendor.
Yeah, that's right. Transparency, not having any nasty surprises or buyer's remorse. These are the last things that you want in a client, and you're certainly not going to get that client raving about your product or your customer service or your services to the next one. So it's super important. And I really respect what you guys are doing, actually, because the partnerships structure that you have is, it's very comprehensive, and it really serves a need, and yeah, it's fantastic. So brilliant. I think we've touched upon a lot there. So everybody, no spray and pray approach, please. Don't ruin it for the providers anymore. Make it easier for marketers like me, and sellers, like Tommy, because we want a better industry where there's more trust. And at the end of the day, sort of coming back to how we opened this live, we're all working towards the same direction. Hoteliers and providers, we're trying to make better, more successful businesses, and mostly just happier guests.
Yes.
So, let's keep on doing that. And thank you so much, Tommy. It's been fantastic. If anybody would like to get in touch with Tommy or with Muse, find them on LinkedIn. If you want to get in touch with me or Gain, find us on LinkedIn as well. And yeah, see you next time. Thank you, Tommy.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I look forward to continued conversations.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
See you.